this movie is getting hammered on Rotten Tomatoes by the traditional critics, mainstream critics, at like it's like a 5% or 1%. Very negative by the critics. No surprise, because Melania is our first lady, married to, of course, President Trump. And the mainstream media hates Trump. Now, the on the opposite end, user reviews are very high. People that are going to see, actually seeing the movie, are enjoying it. And I saw it in a theater. I purchased a ticket, and I'll say that the people in the theater I was at cheered and they loved it. And it's 80 plus 84, 85% very positive reviews. I'm a 90s liberal trapped in the present, which means people think I'm very far extreme in my opinions for being a basically 90s liberal views. Neither is the truth. Not the far negative, not the far positive. The movie is directed by Brett Ratner, and it follows Melania Trump in her planning of her involvement in the planning of the inauguration on January 20th. January 20th. Big event. And that alone, it's like a fly on the wall view, which is what I thought we would get. As it turns out, Brett Ratner overproduced this movie. I mean, the opening scene is her getting in a limo, driving to a location where she's doing a fitting for what she's going to wear. And there are crane shots. It's so planned. It seems like all the dialogue, especially in the scene where she's talking about her hat and the size of the brim and the cloth that goes around. She wore this hat. She looked like Carmen Sandiego or a mafia wife involved in the offing of her husband's enemies. It's in such detail. And honestly, I really grew to like her in it. I felt too much of the movie is scripted. It's too overproduced. I like the idea. First of all, by the way, also, I'm a patriot. I love this country. Okay. I have watched all the inaugurations, whether the person I voted for won or whether they lost. I watched the inauguration. It's history. I've watched presidential debates since I was a kid. So I'm a fan. I'm a fan. And I want to see what's going. Well, there are some really surprising moments. Her interactions with her husband. We actually see when they get back they've been up for 22 hours. So the first half of the movie is really about Melania's planning. That's kind of slow. The second half is the actual inauguration. 22 hours straight. Donald and
Melania. It's Chris Frozen, right?
We'll have to clip this. We'll have to clip this. Please clip this when you post the review. So Melania and Donald have been up for 22 hours. They come back to their quarters. There's a refrigerator with all kinds. I like getting those inside view. But for me, and there were some other moments, you saw like Biden and Kamala come in and they look like puppies who did something wrong and they're in trouble. They literally look like a puppy that sat on the floor and is going to be in trouble. They know they're in trouble. So there's some funny moments there, but it's really not, I don't think it's really real. It's too overproduced for me, which is disappointing. So I give it a 5 or maybe a 6. But I like this document of history. But Brett Ratner really overreached and tried to make things look. I mean, are they shooting a movie or a documentary? And by a movie, I mean like everything is slick. Everyone has makeup on. It's too scripted for me. So 5 or 6. If you're a fan of history and following everything big in politics, but this is no more or less produced. I'll end on this. It's no more or less propaganda than a documentary about civil rights or drag queens or whatever. Those are very political and propaganda in their own right, as is this. So the critiques are, you can't just critique this movie. Most documentaries made now, they're all documentaries are propaganda in this stage. There are very few documentaries made where a filmmaker says, I'm going to see where it leads me and find the truth. No, they're all funded by organizations in favor of whatever the cause is that the documentary is about. So today, in our present awful media, nearly 99% of docs are propaganda. So this critique of this movie being propaganda falls flat for me because everything is. So like I said, for me, the truth is in the middle. It's a 5 or a 6, but it is in the end, in that second half, you get to the inauguration, best part of the film. Alan, what did you think?
Yeah, first read my review on Film Threat. I think there was just this idea in me that was I could like or dislike this movie. I'm still gonna get heat for having reviewed it, and so I just leaned into it. Just trying to get into what it is. Look, overproduced. I have a very girly girl wife, and I have seen many seasons of America's Top Model, and then what's the Heidi Klum one? I can't remember the name of the Heidi Klum one, but this movie is exactly like that. So overproduced? No, I've seen this all before. This is like the fact that they're going over the minute detail of her dress, the hat, is something I've seen on Bravo way too many times. Look,
I'm seeing your quote. The film is for chicks.
Yeah, this film is for chicks.
7 out of 10. We'll put the link. We'll put the link to this review in the description.
Yeah, Project Runway. But
yeah.
Look, to me, the most interesting thing about it is getting to know what happens during an inauguration.
Yes,
and I do like the fact that unlike previous first ladies, she just embraces the femininity of the role.
Yeah.
She has her causes. She is a wife. She's a mother. She's the keeper of the house, of the White House, and that's, that's kind of what you want to see, is just the idea that the White House, the people who represent us, that there's this kind of grand opulence that goes and surrounds it. And she certainly embodies all that. And fuck the politics. I mean, look, there's just, you're never going to win. Everyone's going to accuse you of being this or being that. So I think with my review, I just decided A, not to care, and B, I wanted my review to be a lightning rod. Just kind of like, if you are a progressive and you hate Trump and you have TDS, I just want you to read my review and see at the naivety, the naive tones that I give it, and hope you have a great day. And maybe you'll do a video on my review.
Well, it's 5% on Rotten Tomatoes, but on Fandango, it's 99%. Is that right? From Rotten, that's interesting.
Yeah, and they're also touting that's the lowest rated movie on IMDb, which, I mean, who's rating movies on IMDb?